Hey everybody, it's Paul again, throwing out some more stretches. I got some responses from the last couple of stretching sessions that I had put out on Facebook, and it's coming back down to a lot of the stretches are needed for the low back and pelvic girdle, where a lot of people are getting constricted in the front. One particular couple were homeschooling their kids, and trying to get down to the child's level and stay there for as long as the child needed, and they noticed that they were really cramping up in the front, and they noticed how it was affecting them in the back. So if I could please put together a protocol that you can do seated or easily, and I'd like to try and do that now. So there was a part of the, here, just going to move this out of the way, and move this into the way, and one of the stretches that's really easy to do to open up the line that runs down through the obliques and into the iliacus and psoas. It's really just, we've done a lot of the trunk stretches like this, and we did a lot of anterior obliques, forward bending, flexing. What we could do is the exact same thing, but in the back. So if I turn sideways, maybe that's easier. And I'm using the back leg of the chair, and hopefully that works. On the chair, it works. Hopefully it works on the chairs that you have. And you can do this kneeling down too, reaching back. But I'm just going to use a chair. It's easier to demonstrate. So as I reach back like this, I'm going to my left. I'm going to rotate to the left. If there's an arrow coming at the front, I'm rotating to the left, keeping my hips square to the direction I was facing before, and reaching down to the side. And to counterbalance that, I'll throw my right leg out into the front and then reach back. 1, 2. And you can add a bit of a rotation if you want. That adds a little intensity to the stretch. And 5. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. And I feel a lot more restricted on this side. As you may have seen in the last few videos, there's been some accidents in my past that are, maintaining their restrictions. They don't stop me from doing it, most things, but I do feel it now that I'm not doing as much every day. So that was the trunk. And again, of course, you can do that kneeling down, doing the same thing, and just balancing on your knees and reaching back. Same idea. Same idea. Okay. So for the internal and external rotators of the hips, bring this guy back in. And this I do on these chairs because they're tall, of course, but I also can do it on the edge of my kitchen table or the counter. I have a bed that's quite elevated and solid at the edges and free. And I sit on the edge because if I'm sitting straight on and I want to do this movement, my opposite leg is, of course, restricting my range of motion. So I just sit on the edge, and now I have a little bit more range of motion. I'll often put a bolster, this is just a tea towel, underneath my knee to keep my thigh up high. There's nothing wrong with it down low. I just find that I don't get the same range. And it's a little more comfortable in the acetabulum, the femur hitting inside the socket of the hip. I find I have better range and it's a little smoother ride. And while you don't need a rope or a strap, if you can reach down, you can assist here. For me, it's a little tough right at the moment. And if you can't do that, then you can get your rope or your strap. And if you're doing your external rotation of your thigh, you get an external rotation of that wrap. Because instead of it's perfectly fine to pull here, but I find I'm getting more stretch right through here in the peroneals, longus, brevis, and tertius. So if I can wrap, I distribute the weight around the end of my tibia and fibula. 1, 2. 1, 2. And I'm stabilizing with this hand because the more I pull, the more my thigh wants to come up. Again, not wrong, it just takes away some of the intensity of the stretch. So I'm just rotating this cylinder of my thigh. And I'll stick with that same leg for my external rotator stretch, or for the internal rotation of my thigh. I might assist a bit with this hand. And now switch to the other side. External rotation, external wrap, and then internal rotation, internal wrap. Yeah, so as I come in, I can really feel that right here on that trochanteric attachment of the external rotators in the back. Okay, so let me show you another alternative method of doing that same stretch. Here on the floor, on my mat. Let's see if that works. So I hope you can see me. Anyway, so the action is the same. Again, an external rotation, external wrap. And I'm just going to stabilize here. 1, 2, 1, 2. And it's an active agonist contraction and then a slight assist at the end. And 5. Internal rotation, internal wrap. Same thing. Same thing, other side now. So I'm going to be doing this internal rotation. And what you can also do is once you've done your 5 at this angle, you can attract different fibers by doing a slight drop to the outside. And the same thing applies for your internal rotators. Whoop, I lost it there, hang on. I'm going to actually assist a little bit here, 1, 2. Same stretch, just a different set of fibers. So that's the same thing we were doing seated, and now let me get back into the glutes. And I'm going to go straight to what we were referring to in another video, an earlier video, as glute phase 3, where phase 1 was coming straight across from knee to opposite hip. Phase 2 is knee to opposite rib. And then phase 3 is throw in a rotation and hold that rotation as much as you can when you come up to opposite rib. 2, 4, 5. And remember, the way I maintain myself on the floor, flat on the floor, is I get in that unexercised leg across midline, internally rotated. 1, 4. And the reason I want to get as much rotation as I can get is so that when we get into the piriformis, there's 2 phases of the piriformis. And they both need a rotation. So if I can rotate my thigh, now that I can rotate my thigh, I'll maintain that rotation, as much rotation as I can get, and then push up. I'll start here, bottom rib, and then in increments work up to, say, the opposite shoulder. 1, 2, maintain rotation, and then, and I can feel that right here on that sacral attachment of the piriformis. And reach up and then assist. Try not to let the leg unwind and fall to the opposite side, or its same side, I should say. Keep coming across midline and uphill towards the shoulder or the ribs, 1, 2, while maintaining that rotation 4, and then 5. And then phase 2 is now that I can get over there and stay there safely, I'm going to get there, stay there, and then add the rotation. So now the sacral attachment is in its extended state, and the rotation reaches the stretch down to the trochanteric attachment right at the hip. So I'm going to go. And it's an active agonist contraction. And then I'll do the same thing here. 1, 2, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now we're doing from glute max and piriformis, we're going to get into, oh, I've lost my, oh, here it is. So, from that position, sorry, hang on. I'm going to go back to some of the positions that we can get our bodies into to help maintain that strength, and it's really just a matter of holding our hands above our heads. And it sounds easy, and it is easy, but what I'm going to get you to do is with your feet fairly flat on the floor, internally rotate a thigh, internally rotate your other thigh. So now you're opened up in the back, palms facing the ground. You're going to reach down, you're going to reach away from yourself, and then as you get to head height, watch your hands as they come up. Breath in, reach up, breath out, reach back, keep lifting, and do that a few times. Or you can simply lock your hands together, hands behind your head, looking straight ahead. A little bit of pressure into your hands, a little bit of pressure negating the movement of your head, so you're just engaging the back of the neck. And then from this position, just try walking. Take a few steps in that posture, and you're really engaging your hips and thighs to walk and disengaging the back. So this is something that I will do to try and release the back as well. There are other things, of course, that I do would be if I had I don't have my kettlebell, it's in the other room from when I was working out, but if I'm lacking on this side, for instance, I've overdone it on this side, which is what was pulling me down on this side, I'll pick up my kettlebell, and on an out breath, bear the weight of it on this side, which is usually about 8 or 12 kilos, and it's enough to make me light my muscles up on this side, really have them kick in, and then just take about 10 or 12 steps, trying to stabilize all the way through on this side, and just keep it like that. And so that can help maintain this side's strength. There's other farmer walks that you can do, but just to keep it simple, I'll keep that one there. And the other ones that we can do for strength and mobility come to, let's see, I don't know if you can see on that. If I'm in my sort of almost like a bird dog position, I'm just going to reach the leg out the back. Can you see that? And then kind of do a box draw, tiny little box draw. So I'm reaching out through the toes and drawing a line on the bottom, the side, the top, the bottom, the side, and the top. So we're just doing small increments like a box draw, up, cross, down, cross, top, side, bottom, and that sort of thing. And then, of course, bird dog would help as well. So, yeah, these are the stretches that I would like to offer for low back, hip, pelvic girdle instability, to open it up and then to stabilize it with some strengthening. So, Paul from Stretching Canada, from here in my home and studio. And I hope these are helping, and I hope that you have good success with this. I hope everyone's safe and healthy and staying at home. If you have any recommendations, if you have any questions or concerns, connect with me either on Facebook or Messenger, or text me or phone me, or find a way to connect with me either here or on YouTube, and let me know how you're doing. So I hope everyone's well. Take care. Till next time. Peace out.